Canadian hip hop artist Choclair. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hip hop artist from Toronto. Started out doing freestyles back in the day, doing the freestyle circuit. Not even the circuit, but like where people used to come to your high school.
I know you started rap at a really young age, 11. Is that when you started rapping in high school? And like, how did you really get into the hip hop scene?
Well, my brother, he was the guy on the block when I used to live over at Markham and Eglinton. So people used to come up to me and be like, "You're gonna be like your." They used to call me Junior.
Okay,
and they'd
like,
be
like your brother. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Yo, Junior, you're gonna do like your brother." And at that point, I wasn't really into it. I just liked music, though. I loved music. And I went to this party over at Markham and Eglinton. I think the building was called 3181. I can't fully remember if that's the right one. It's a corner building on the corner of Markham and Eglinton. I went to a basement party that they did in the rec room over there. And I just dropped some lyrics and whatever, and somebody said, "You're good." And I said, "Okay." And then I just stuck at it. And then I just started doing that, and I just stuck with it and kept moving with it.
And you're still doing things. You're touring right now in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So where have you performed, and who have you performed with?
Oh, I performed with a lot of people. A lot of people that I've like I performed with Red and Math. I performed with James Brown. I performed with Ghostface. I performed with Gangstar. I performed with DMX. I performed with a whole lot of people.
It's pretty crazy to be performing with people that large. What inspires you when you're rapping? Do those people inspire you, or?
Well, the raps inspire me because I grew up on 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
So 90s hip hop was where it was like you had to have something. Back when everybody knew every single lyric on the album. So like what the album from Redman or Method Man's album or EPMD's album or Biggie's Ready to Die album. You knew every song and you knew every lyric on that album.
Hip hop has changed a lot from the 90s. Do you like the direction it's going now, and what do you think about the new rappers today?
I think they're good, and it's changed, and things are always going to change. Like I'm sure the people that came up in the game in the 80s, like in the 90s, it may have changed and whatever, and things change, but the one thing that doesn't change is authenticity.
I feel today rappers have a lot of originality, and they're coming with a lot of different styles, and they're mixing genres of music, and I feel like it's really creative.
It is very creative, but like one thing that I do catch that one thing that I wish that would change is I was watching some interview, and I don't remember who it was, but they asked them, they said, "Do you know who Biggie or Jay-Z or one of the big major artists from back in the day?" And they said, "No, I don't even know who they are." And I'm like, how do you not know who they are? You gotta
know.
You gotta know who these people are.
Like my dad, while he was training me, he made me study old school legends like Biggie and Tupac and Rage, Lady of Rage, and all those legends from before. Because you have to really know your roots if you're gonna start something.
If you're gonna know where you're gonna go, no one's saying to copy what they're doing. But if you're gonna know where you're gonna go, you gotta know your history.
You gotta study the people that did it.
Yeah, because those are the people that made it popular and cool. That's why, because hip hop used to be a subculture. They used to call it black music, then they changed it to urban music. Mm-hmm. Now it's pop music. But it started so far underground. And then you need to know who are these guys that came up all the way back. Like I'm not saying, okay, you need to know every album from Kool Moe Dee or
you gotta be
Kool Herc, but you gotta know who those guys are.
On it, yeah.
Because those guys are the people. And it's the same as almost like even just in black culture. You gotta know who are the people. You gotta know who Rosa Parks is. You gotta know who Malcolm X is. You gotta know who Martin Luther King is. You gotta know who these people are, because those are the people that sat there and made things possible for you today. And unfortunately, in my opinion, I think some people, they think that those things are not something to really go and think about, because they're just about what's going on now. And the people that go and sit there and will become successful in this day and age of where the music is that they will know who their past history is in Canada, and in hip hop in general, because there's a lot of people that put a lot of work down. Like me, I wouldn't be here if there wasn't a Maestro, if there wasn't a Michi Me, if there wasn't a Ghetto Concept, if there wasn't a Dream Warriors, if there wasn't a Kish, if there wasn't an Infinite, if there wasn't all these different Boiling Point, Concrete Mob, like all these different groups.
Yeah.
Like I can name them off, and that's just Canada.
What do you think about the content of today rappers? Because it kind of changes. They're talking about different things now. Content's kind of.
I'm cool with content. People rap about what they want to rap about.
That's true.
So I'm cool with content. I think though that there's space, and for people who go and take that space, it's like everybody's partying and jamming and turned up right now.
Yeah.
And that's cool, because like when we go out and we want to go and have a good time, we want that. Everybody, jam. But there's space for people to go and sit there and give something to somebody's mind, food for your soul.
That's what I always think. There's different categories of
yeah,
that.
and then the one thing is that you got to remember, I was talking to a rock friend of mine who, because like, you meet some older people and they sit there and they watch and they listen to classic rock.
Yeah.
And they're still listening to Led Zeppelin and
the
old rock and roll guys. And they're like, they were talking about something, American Woman. Like I remember I was hearing that Lenny Kravitz redid the American Woman. I think it was The Who or Who. And if I'm making a mistake, sorry. Don't tweet me like I'm making a super mistake. I know it was, there was a Canadian band that did it, and it was American Woman. It was talking about, we don't want that. And they were talking about the politics of America being put on Canada.
Yeah.
Songs like that, and to where Lenny Kravitz now go and remake it. And they're talking about it. Those songs have merit. And what I'm talking about is certain songs that feed your soul will always last longer than the songs that you do for now.